You're listening to the Things Podcast, brought to you by the Things Industries.
Hi, everybody. This is Alix, Paultre, and I'm here at the Things Conference with Michel Wouters van der Oudenweyer. He is with the IoT Consulting Partners Group. And, when you think about the IoT, there are so many facets. What aspects do you consult on, Michel?
Oh, that's a good question. I think we focus especially on compliance in the industry. You know, you're working with wireless technology, so compliance is a big issue with this.
It is, well, no pun intended, a lot of moving parts out there, all of these devices, because as I was saying in an earlier piece, everything powered is now becoming smart, and everything smart is becoming connected now. And now all of these connected parts create this ecosystem, but where to begin, where to start, where to end, how to get them to work together, compliance, validation.
Yeah, the world is wireless. Everything is wireless these days. And I started in this business 25 years ago, for a certification body and for a test house, radio, EMC. And that time we talked about kilobits wireless LAN. Look at where we are now. Everything is connected. Yeah, even now, and I will be very honest, and I don't hope my wife is listening. I even know where my wife is now, right? You can see everything.
They track everything.
You can track everything. So, yeah.
Well, and that brings a lot of facets, though. I mean, first off, you have the functionality. We're connected. Can you do the things that you're designed to do inside the ecosystem? Can you do it securely? Can you do it cost effectively? Can you do it in such a way that allows you to retain your investment value in the services that you're selling to your clients?
Yeah.
Where do you start?
Well, you know, you talk about securely.
Right.
Yeah. Let's also talk about safety. Let's talk about health. That is what compliance is about. You know, we see companies, startups, the biggest news ideas. Oh, we're going to develop this. We're going to build this. But at the end, we all want to be safe, health, and then security. And you need to start from the beginning. But this is a topic now here at the conference. The Cyber Resilience Act, you know? So many privacy-related information is going into the cloud. Are we trusting AWS? Are we trusting everyone, what they are doing with our details? So, yeah, very big market, very...
And I think that's a big aspect to address, Michel, here. When you think about just the aspect of trust, not just trust in the device, trust in the provider, trust in the infrastructure provider, trust in the system. Where do you step in?
This is a very good question, you know, because trust, even here, I'm having tomorrow, I'm in a panel, and that is already the word trust. What is trust? We start it from product level. So people are developing the products, and we look at network assets. We look at security assets, secure storage mechanisms. Actually, this is on product level. And eventually all these products will be connected with each other and then told to each to be safe. But we start really from product level, from the beginning, from this tape where we have an idea and we write something on a piece of paper.
Well, and nowadays you could take that piece of paper and sign a blockchain code to it, put it into your design software, have everybody collaborate on it, have your developers look at it, your manufacturing, then you go to a smart manufacturing facility and they find out, oh, there's an issue with the design, so they go back and iterate the design at the design level. A lot of moving parts there.
There are a lot of moving parts. And you know what is even more moving parts now is open source software in IoT.
And hardware, the RISC-V people and everything there.
It's going to be an extraordinary couple of years. And so this is where we start at. But in security and cybersecurity, before August 1st, 2025 in wireless, it was just like, okay, let's do something about cybersecurity. As from August 1st, 2025, it's the European Union that says you need to do something about cybersecurity. Otherwise, you are not allowed to come on the market. And that Cyber Resilience Act from 2027, that's going to open a lot of boxes. I can tell you that.
Well, that's going to cause cascading effects throughout the industry, because since the European marketplace is going to be implementing these demands, no one's going to separate them out from the world market. They're just going to build to that level for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, but then that brings the question, what advice do you give people? You know, you're consulting, you're helping these companies get involved. What area do you find yourself helping them the most with?
So this is a great question, is that, manufacturers, when you need to comply to let's talk about the European market, because we can talk about FCC in Canada. Let's talk about Europe. Europe has a very clear regulations and directives. And each directive and regulation says, if you want to comply to the European regulation or to the European directive, you need to comply to these essential requirements using harmonized standards. That is, but these essential requirements are actually very clear. However, how to fulfill each essential requirements, there is where the magic happens, and there is where we assist it in risk analysis, in the testing itself, in guidance forms. That is actually what we do to let them comply to that standard or to that directive.
Now, are there any industries or application spaces where you're seeing either a great level of compliance or a great need that they should comply?
The European directives and regulations is a lot built on declaration of conformity. And that gives the European Commission has a lot of trust in all the economic operators, manufacturers, importers. But they need to comply and have all the forms together, all the documents, the test reports. I think in general, the industry can do a little bit better. There's a lot to do. And we see that now exactly on cybersecurity, but also on EMC radio testing. There's a lot to do to comply to these regulations.
Got it. Was there any aspect of what you're doing that we hadn't brought up yet that you'd like to make sure the audience knows about?
Oh, we have explained everything. It's I think the most important, you have a new IoT product, you have an idea. Don't wait with compliance until it's in the factory and being produced. Even if you make a small drawing on a paper, think about compliance. You save so much money and everything, and don't bring a faulty product to the market, non-compliant product to the market. It's not worth it, especially now what's going on with market surveillance.
Can waste billions of dollars.
You waste a lot, yeah. Eventually, if you are Apple, or another company, you could waste billions of dollars.
Yes, because there was a company that actually, when liquid crystal on silicon, one of the display technologies was coming out.
Yeah.
They built a product, fab, and then it wasn't viable in the marketplace. When you're talking about creating a chip fab or a assembly line, a product line, you could have a product that literally loses you almost your company, depending on how deep the hole is.
We have seen a lot of startups with the greatest ideas, and then at the end they say, oh, we still need compliance. And we need to tell them, or we need to inform them and say, for emissions, for spectrum use, you need to update this or this. And then, well, they look at us and they say, well, we cannot do anything else. Yeah, there is no good news I can bring them. It's start from the beginning. But I see here wonderful companies, and they all started from the beginning, because otherwise they wouldn't be here.
Exactly. So you have any final words for our audience before I let you go?
Yeah, next time, don't listen, but be here, because it's really impressive. This is my first time. I'll be back next year. So
this is a great show.
Yeah, it's a great show. It's a lot of knowledge. You learn a lot from all the people, and it's a close community. Everyone talks to each other, and it's not like going to a big fair where no one knows each other. Here, everything, but it's a community. It's a community, but I guess in 2-3 years, it will be a very big show, because this is one.
It's growing. But thank you. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us today.
No problem. Thank you, Alex.